The last section we began to see how to multiply together polynomials. In particular, we saw how to multiply binomials, and we would FOIL them out and we would distribute twice. Now, we're going to see that there are some special patterns that emerge, and this entire section is on those special patterns. It is helpful to know this, but I don't spend a lot of time in a typical course on this because if you just FOIL it out, you'll get the right answer or you'll start to see the pattern for yourself. So let's get started here and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm not going to focus on that. Let's just do this. And what I have, let me see if I can, yeah, I'm not going to do it like that. Okay. So x plus 5 squared means this, doesn't it? X plus 5 times another x plus 5. Let's FOIL this out like we did before. That's x squared. X times 5 would give me 5x. Here times here I get 5x. And there times there we get 25. Okay, now we would combine like terms and we'd have 10x in the middle. Now, here's what they're saying. Someone did this over and over and over again, and they began to see that a pattern emerged. They began to see if I started with something times itself. So I've got this. What happens is you can square the outsides, and what you get in the middle is always two of these multiplied together. So this would be 5x. There's two of them. So two 5x's is 10x. Now this is always true, and they just began to see this to emerge. So I'm going to do a couple more like where I FOIL them, and then I'll go through the shortcut. Again, it's not essential that you memorize this. It's helpful for factoring, that will do, but it isn't essential. So I FOIL this out, I'd get x squared, I'd get 9x, another 9x, and an 81. Now do you see that this keeps happening the same way? I've got the squares of the outsides and I've got two of that middle term, so it becomes 18x when I combine those in the middle and 81. So let's do it the other way. So the shortcut is to just recognize that that's going to happen. So x squared, so I'm squaring the front one and I'm squaring the back one. Now 9 times x is the two of them together, and let's do that twice. 9 times x times 2, so doubling that would have made 18x. So 9 times x, there's two of them, 18x. Now I'll show you one more time with both, and then the point of this section is the shortcut. So I'll start just doing the shortcut. Okay, FOIL this out, we get y squared plus 11y. Now let's do this one. We get 11y. That'll be 121. Now we combine like terms. We get 22y when we combine these. The only two that combine. They're the only two on the same team. Now, let's do the shortcut. You can square the front one. You can square the back one. Now multiply the two of them together. It'd have 11y. If you had two 11y's, you'd have 22y. You always get that same middle term twice, and so you can just think of it as multiply them together and double it. All right, nothing is different here with, yeah, I don't like the way they're doing the notation. I think they're memorizing it as a pattern. I think it's confusing. Let's just talk it through. I'm going to square the front one. Now I'm going to square the back one, but that's -3. So -3 squared is a positive 9. Now, the two of these multiplied together, that's -3y this time. So if I had two -3y's, that's -6y. Okay, pause it if you want to try on your own. I'm going to square the front, square the back, and it needs that minus sign, so that's plus 81. Okay, so if I multiply these two together now, I'd have -9x, but if I had two of them, it'd be -18x. Again, you could just FOIL it, you would get to the same place, but this is a time saver if you start to have this down. What is 13 squared? 169. Okay, so I'm squaring the front, squaring the back. Now it's -13 squared, so it's a plus 169. Now multiply these together, I have negative 13p, but there's two of them, negative 26p. Okay, it's going to be the same thing. We're just going to get much more complicated versions, but it's the same thing. So let me just do it by what we've been doing here. The shortcut would be to square the front, and I square the back. Now if I multiply these two together, I'd have 24x, but we need two of them because it will always create two of that middle, so I would have this. Okay, again, I'm going to square the front. I'm going to square the back, be plus 9. Now if I multiply these together, I'd have 18x. Well, we need two of those, so plus 36x. Okay, give me one second. I got to cough here. I'm going to pause it for a second. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Okay, so square in the front, square in the back. If I multiply these together, I'd have 36x, but I need two of those, so plus 72x. All right, more complicated, nothing changes. So if I square the front here, 4x squared. If I square the back there, negative 3y, that's plus 9y squared. Okay, let's multiply the two of them together. This one's a little strange. I'd have negative 6xy. Can you see that if I just multiply this guy and that guy? Now we need two of them. So if there was another negative 6xy, this would be negative 12xy. And I have a little space there, but that's what we'd have. Okay. 4c squared on the front. Negative d would be plus d squared. Now we multiply them together. Negative 2cd. Remember the sign matters on that d, so negative 2cd. Now if there was another one, they would come together to be minus 4cd. Okay, is this the last one? No, we got some more. So, okay, pause it though if you want to try on your own. 16x squared. Negative 5y squared would be plus 25y squared. Write the two of them together, make negative 20xy. But I need another one of them. It always creates the two, so negative 40xy. Okay, let's see here. It's getting strange, but nothing is going to change. I guess I didn't need to write that again. So same thing. We're going to square this first one. Well, maybe that would be a little harder to see. So here's what I'm doing. When I square that, this is what this means. These guys together. That'd be 16. I had 3 u's. I have 3 more u's. Remember, we add that up. So I'd have 16u to the 6th. Now you square the back. 1 squared is still just 1. Now multiply these together. I get 4u to the 3rd. Now, but there's 2 of them because it's the middle. So I'd have 8u to the 3rd. Okay, so same pattern every time because we're taking the same thing and squaring it times itself. So 4x to the 4th. So if you're not sure about that, just come over here and do this. 4, and we add up the exponents, x to the 4th. On the back end, we get 1. Okay, so we multiply these together, we get 2x squared, but I need another one. So you see it'll make 4x squared. If you're not sure about that, well, let me show you in case you're not sure. They multiply to get that, but we need 2 of them. 4x squared. Okay, this is probably the last one. Yeah, so make sure you try this if you need to. This would be 9y to the 6th. So please try this. Make sure you see what I'm doing here. Squaring that. Now multiply these together. I'd have 6y to the 3rd. And there's 2 of them. So it would be 12y to the 3rd. Okay, this is much faster. And so if you are comfortable, you're doing really well, it's a great little thing to know. It will be helpful later. But if it is like one of the problems with math is it just becomes too much stuff to remember. So if you're having a difficult time with all the ideas, then all you got to do is just you're multiplying it by itself, so just FOIL it out. That'll get you to the same place.